photograph. Good evening, Dr. Ashutosh. Good evening, Dr. Rushali. Good evening, Dr. Bhatika. Good evening,
Yeah, good evening.
Dr. Saurav. I can see the faces now.
Yeah, after COVID, we are meeting in online mode. Feeling wonderful.
So good.
Thanks for COVID. Good evening, Dr. Sunil. Oh, this is first time when we are meeting, so we can say good morning also. Good morning.
We can say anything.
Pranam.
Yes.
Wherever we are comfortable.
Right.
So quickly, please switch on your cameras, those who are comfortable, so that we can take a quick screenshot. Dr. Vidyasagar, good evening. Dr. Nivas, good evening. Ridhima ma'am is quickly taking the screenshots.
Yeah, but we want some good expression also so that we can show up that energy. Yeah, anything that you like to do.
And today's session is on stress management. So no stress. Happy smiling faces. I can see very nice smiling faces now.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And you can keep your cameras on because it looks nice. We feel that we are talking to people rather than to our laptop screen.
So that used to be the same line when you used to teach the students. Now we are using here. Good morning, Dr. Nutan. So, Dr. Nutan, you have joined us from Mumbai?
Yeah. Yes, I joined from Mumbai.
Oh, wow. How is the weather?
It's very cool here.
Same.
Yeah.
The temperature over here is right now 8 degrees.
And participants are requested to please have their profile as their first name and last name, because we take your attendance from the Google Meet. In case your name is not in the right, right nomenclature, then it is very difficult to mark your attendance. So it is a humble request if you can rename your profiles and keep it the way you have registered.
Dr. Rushali, I'm really happy to know in Pune it is 7 degrees.
Yeah, really wonderful weather here. 7 degrees. Oxford of the East here in Pune.
Oh.
I think, Neetima, we should start.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll take this privilege of introducing the coordinator of this FDP today to all of you. We have been meeting and we have been interacting through WhatsApp with some of you, but this is a formal introduction for Neetima. She will be taking a session for you today on stress management. She's currently associated with Jaypee Business School as an assistant professor and has more than 11 years of experience both in academia and industry. She holds a BTech in computer science from UPTU and an MBA plus a PhD with 3 years of fellowship, where she has worked on developing models like training need analysis, employability skills meter, which are specifically meant to address those corporate training challenges. Her career span roles as a software engineer in IT firms and also as associate training head in India's skill development initiatives. So she has contributed to major projects like PMKVY, DDU, GKY, NCVT certification programs. She's led many. As an academic, she has held positions at some of the renowned colleges across Delhi NCR. She's a prolific researcher. You all can find her on Google Scholar. She has published in reputed journals like Elsevier, Web of Science, Scopus, Emerald, IEEE, and which are of great repute nationally as well as internationally. Now she's a PhD supervisor and our esteemed colleague. We are glad to have her as part of our team. And it has been a wonderful, wonderful coordination working on this FDP with you. And let's all welcome her with a great thumbs up and some emojis so that she can take your session on stress management without any stress. Over to you, Neetima. Welcome on board. Unmute. Neetima, you will have to unmute.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ridhima. I'm also fortunate enough to work with you for this FDP. And thank you to all the participants who are over here. So, we know that what is the topic of the session today? Stress management. So, first question. How many of you are sitting with a cup of coffee or a tea right now? Can you please raise your hand or write down yes or anything? Monica Suri, Vanna Gupta, Yogesh. Oh my God, Dr. Suren, Dr. Praveen. Okay. Dr. Manor is saying no, ma'am. Okay. Oh my God, I can see Dr. Pankhuri, Ankita Verma, Mr. Mahmood, Dr. Sai Krishna, Dr. Puneet, Dr. Dilip, Dr. Vishal Gupta, tea on stove. Oh my God. Okay, we are waiting for that tea, sir. Okay, Dr. Vijaya. Oh wow, 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 wow. Oh, that's really great. And I'm waiting for my cup of coffee, which I'll take after 7:30 now, because I have to take this session till 7:30. So all of you can please lower down your hands now. Thank you. One thing now that I'm fortunate to know that people, they are listening to me and they are also reacting. So now I request all of you to please lower down your hands. Thank you so much. Now about this session, we are going to keep this session very, very interactive, because this session talks, thank you, Dr. Anuti. This session will talk a lot about stress. And stress is something, first of all, we have to understand from where it is coming, why it is coming, and what we are doing in our everyday life to manage this stress. We cannot fight the stress, but we can manage the stress. So I'll start with the stress that I am feeling today. So morning, it was the PhD presentation of my scholar. I was very tense because it was a first presentation. By afternoon, I was stressed because I have to make the PPT because I have a session today. And exactly at 5:15, again, I was going through a stress because I have to reach back home by 5:30. I have to log in and I have to start this session. So this was all about the stress that I have felt today. Now, I would request you to tell me what kind of stress you have felt today. So, Ms. Swati Sharma, would you like to start? Would you like to tell us the stress that you have faced today or you're facing? Ms. Swati Sharma, Dr. Swati Sharma, Dr. Anuti Chaudhary. Dr. Anuti. Okay. Dr. Vanna Gupta, please unmute yourself.
Yeah, hi Neetima. Actually, in academics, we, generally people have a perception that in academics, people don't have stress. But managing classes, invigilation duties, reaching office on time, and then coming home on time, then teaching our own kids here, I think managing all our household chores plus office assignments definitely gives us a stress.
Definitely. I totally agree. Any other person who will agree to this? They can please come up with their stories of stress.
Yes, ma'am. We are fully agree with ma'am and with you, as we are teaching since morning 7 o'clock. I started, and 9 o'clock I have to reach to my college. Then there are classes, there are exam duties, there are inspection work, everything. Then rush to home because I need to attend FDP today. Then there are many things. Tomorrow is my daughter's birthday. I need to prepare something for that also. So everyone is busy nowadays, and it may be if we'll consider it is a stress. If we will not consider, you keep yourself happy, though you can manage easily. You can manage easily that.
Dr. Mamta, you are where right now? In which part of India?
Yeah, ma'am, I'm from Delhi.
So we all are coming tomorrow to your place for your daughter's birthday.
Oh, welcome, welcome. You all are welcome.
Okay,
I will send you the address.
definitely. Dr. Monica, would you like to add anything to that? Good evening.
Yeah, good evening, Neetima. Generally, because I see your profiles and credentials when it comes to training. I know what it means to us being an academician. And when we go and train, we come to know the grassroots kind of problems that everybody is facing. So when I go to industry, I always say that if you are 24/7, we in academics are 48/7. So that level of grooming we do generally when it comes to stress. So I
So
personally feel that, keeping in mind the multitasking roles and multi-skilling that we are doing, I personally feel that, that is, that becomes a part of roller coaster, being on roller coaster right from 8 a.m. till again, at this point in time also, we are so energetic because we are academicians. And so we can see still the kind of energy we all are having. So I personally feel that, now we have groomed ourselves in such a way, specifically if I speak about myself, I feel when there's no stress on that particular day, I don't think that is a normal day for me. So because we get into too much of, such kind of crisis management and all these things day in, day out, whether it is from the student side or maybe when you're managing on leadership roles also, there's so much multitasking you're doing. And I think it is all fun, and that's why we are teachers and we chose this profession. So I feel it is very much the part and parcel of our personality now.
yes, I completely agree. And one thing that I have learned from my supervisor, make stress your friend. Then you are going to enjoy
Absolutely.
this stress.
Absolutely. Yeah, thank you.
I'm really liking this comment which is coming up. The stress of
Nilima,
change. Yes,
Madam, Dr. Sarkar here. I want to add one aspect of it. Stress is something which is a part and parcel of life, and it is a state of mind. If you take it in a very happy note, and if you take it as an part and parcel of life, you will actually enjoy it. And if you take it as a negative aspect, then your life becomes a hell.
so true.
I think you will be in a better position to explain this in a better manner. But it is a crux which I have, being in academics for more than 35 years. What I observed, बच्चे तो शैतानी करते हैं, बदमाशी करते हैं, पर उसको एंजॉय करो तो ठीक है ना? Life is beautiful if you consider what it is, not what it should be.
Right, sir.
Then
Absolutely right. Absolutely right. Okay. So we all feel one or the other kind of stress in our everyday life, right? The biggest stress is the time management. And I believe that most of us will agree with this, that most of the stress that we feel in our life is because of the absence of time management somewhere. Do you agree? If yes, then please write down yes. If no, then please write down no, or you can raise your hand. As I've said at the beginning of the session also, let's keep the sessions interactive. We are here for the development program. We do not have the classroom type of structures over here. Yes, Dr. Selvan, you want to say something? Yes, Dr. Salvan, do you want to say something? Okay. Thank you, everyone. So now I would like to start with few stories, right? And these are not just stories, these are the experience of different people from different corporates, which I have heard while I was providing training at different organizations at different time. This is a story from a very dedicated employee. I'll not tell the name, or I'll give some hypothetical name, Shubham, right? Shubham was a very dedicated employee who could take pride in his job. His manager's constant criticism, however, was destroying his will every day. Each email that was coming to his inbox to question the decisions that he has made, and every single email was chipping away his confidence. That constant passion was turning into stress, and his constant drive to help others, to show that sportsmanship behavior, right? It was becoming a headache for him every day. He has started staying late in the office. Why? Because he just want to find out that moment of peace in the office. He does not want to take that stress back home. However, he was not able to cope up. He was not able to come up with something that can satisfy his boss. So that was the first story that I have told you. Now come to the second story. So it's a story about a female employee, say Soumya. So Soumya was the star performer of a team, and she has always worked above the expectations, beyond her duties. However, the mounting pressure and the unrealistic deadlines started taking toll on her. Nights they became like work marathons without sleep. That makes her more exhausted and disconnected from her own family. So that Soumya who used to be once very bright, very optimistic, now can be seen as a person with a very heavy heart. Her physical and mental well-being was like deteriorated, and she questioned if it was worth the cost of her happiness and health, whatever she's doing. Is she really happy at the workplace? Now the third story is about, say, Annie. Annie was a new joinee at her workplace in the organization. She was full of hope and promise, just like any fresher moving out after completing MBA. How the toxic behavior of some of her colleagues, it has shattered her excitement and has constantly started giving her some kind of fear. So these colleagues, they started damaging her reputation by spreading rumors against her, belittling all what she is doing, creating an environment which was full of hostility. She felt isolated. Every time she was so anxious, and the desire to do something, to come up with, as a achiever, that was dying in. The next story that I'm going to tell you, it's on office politics. So Rohan was a self-driven person, wanted to perform best at his job every day. He entered the world, and that world of office was full of politics. The promotions, they were not based upon the merits, rather they were based upon how well you know your boss. His efforts were never appreciated. All that and backstabbing colleagues would suck all the motivation from him. Rohan thought his dreams was being swept away in a place where connections hold more supremacy than competency. And then the last story. So Neha thrived in her role and enjoyed the friendships. Everything changed though when a co-worker started making unwelcome advances. His persistence made Neha feel unsafe and violated in a place she once loved. So there was a colleague who tried to calm her. She reported entire thing to the HR. However, still none of the action was taken, and that has caused emotional damage to Neha. So these are the 5 stories, and these are actual stories because during the training programs, these are some of the stories that we have heard from the people, right? So I would now request to understand through you, as anyone among us has ever felt any of the stress like that, where you have seen office politics, toxic colleagues, excessive work stress, micromanagement by the manager, or unwelcome advances. Anyone among us does? You may please raise your hand, or you can type yes in the comment box. Okay, Dr. Puneet, Dr. Yogesh, Dr. Vijay, Dr. Rastha, okay, Dr. Akhilesh. Okay. Dr. Vivek. Excessive workload, Dr. Praveen. Okay. Yes, mixed of all, Dr. Divya. Dr. Manor. Dr. Manor. Okay. Satya. Satya, would you like to add anything to it? Dr. Satya, would you like to add anything to it? Okay. So mixed situation. Okay, Dr. Kaushika. Okay. So it means we are going on the right track, right? Workload make us more disciplined. Okay, Dr. Nilesh, that's a beautiful answer. Would like to share a small story for 2 minutes. Yes, Dr. Krishna, you're more than welcome to share your story. You can please unmute yourself. Dr. Krishna.
Madam, good evening, Neetima, madam.
Good evening, sir. How are you?
I'm fine, doing good, madam, doing good.
Yes, sir, please.
Madam, when we are all talking about stress, I want to share my own small story, which everybody would feel it's motivated. This program, at the end of the day, is for motivation of all our team members. So after marriage, I was in marketing for 15 years, madam, Neetima, madam.
But if you don't mind, can we all see you on the screen? If you can please switch on your camera.
Yes, yes. Are you able to see, madam?
Uh,
Are you able to see, madam? Yeah?
yes.
I was in marketing for 15 years. I was in a company called Pfizer. I'm sure all of you know in Pfizer, a pharma company, for 6 years. Post that, I was into wealth management for 12 years. Everywhere there was insurance, there was mutual fund, whatever. I was into sales. You know how stress is the sales. And finally, I got my health problem backaches. Slip disc came. So post marriage, I have to take a decision how to shift from marketing to some other field which stress should not be there. So what I did is I thought of taking this academics once again. At 38 years, 37 years, I did my second MBA with marketing in HR to get a better marks. And I took my PhD, leaving my young son of a 1-year-old with my wife, with my uncle, and went to Visakhapatnam to perform PhD. Finally, God has been very kind that I could get first class in MBA, I could do PhD. And today I'm before you, not just saying doctorate, the risk I've taken, it is I'm keeping my mind and soul. So I work for my family, Neetima, madam. So how to, it's a, what it is a hatam is, it is a stubbornness that how to perform. See, if the stubbornness comes for good things, stress should be slightly away from us. That is one way of looking for me in life. Because end of the day, I have to perform. That is one thing. Second thing is another small story. My father was Indian Major from Army. He was mass famous in my town. But I fear of having taken biology. If I could have failed biology that day, what could be my career? So all these things, stress is only our psychological need. Is there? I'm not saying stress is not there. As somebody said, our colleague said, how much you take into your mind, how much you take into heart is the stress. Ignore it, go to one movie and come, the stress should go off. Go to one coffee, tea, whatever. We have to manage stress. You know very well, you'll be giving that now, but I thought I'll just share these two stories. So I think all of us should be motivated. So once again, thanks a lot.
Thank you so much, Dr. Krishna. And every single experience add more value to the discussion that we are doing, right?
Yes.
Yes. One thing that is very important, and that I think this is the movement that was started during COVID.
Okay.
Where people, they've asked each other to speak. Please speak and tell us what you are going through.
Yes. Very important, madam. Very important.
The biggest irony is that we have friends and family around, but we hardly speak. Right?
Madam, discussion is very important, madam, with our close colleagues and friends, madam. That's all.
Yes, it is. Thank you, Dr. Krishna.
Thank you. Good evening.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'll quickly share my slides, and is Dr. Pankuri or Dr. Yashika around?
Yes, tell me. You want help?
Yes, you just let me know whether my slides are visible or not.
Yeah, sure. Please.
Are they visible?
Yes, they're just loading.
Okay.
Visible now.
It's visible. So let's talk about what is stress. So before we come up to this topic, what is stress? Let's ask few of the questions to ourselves. Are you in the stress right now? If yes, you can summarize the reason in one word. If no, please smile for yourself. So I want to see both of the things. I want to see the reason also in one word, and I want to see the smiles also. So I'm giving you next 30 seconds. Use the message window. Either smile for yourself, or please summarize the stress that you are feeling in one word. I'm waiting for the answers. Smile. Even make that smile. Okay. Oh, nice. Yes, not at all. Yes. In one word. If you're feeling stress, then stress of what? In one word. So many smiles. Target. Very true. Bingo. Smile, smile. Smile. Pressure. That's great. Pressure. Okay. Heavy workload. That's great. No more smiles. Out of 108. Smile. That's great, Krushi. More smiles or more one words, please. Oh, that's beautiful smile, Dr. Puneet. More smiles, little more workload. Okay. Smile. Okay. Oh my God, Dr. John, such nice smiley. Swati Shah. Okay. Thank you so much for your response. Yes, let's time for exercise. Smile. Mrs. Newton, smile. Oh, great. Dilip Paris, smile. Rekha Kanodia, ma'am. Wow. Okay. Praveen, smile. Anuti, smile. Satish, smile. I'm now confused. Okay. It means our session is going too good that I can see too many smiles, and somewhere there is no stress during this session. Riddhima ma'am, please make a note of it. We have to send it to AICT. Okay. Let's ask second question. Do you
Noted with pleasure.
Thank you so much. Next question. Do you think change in appetite is because of any kind of stress? Again, if yes, thumbs up. If no, thumbs down. For how many people the appetite has been changed? If yes, thumbs up. If no, thumbs down. It's either the way. Oh my God. Okay. Nice. Oh my God. We binge on samosas. In our university, we have very nice samosas in our cafeteria, and we eat samosas when we are in stress.
I thought coffee.
Ah. Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
Okay. So now let's move to the next question. Do you think increasing irritation is because of stress? Or it's because of life partner, or to the friends or your colleagues, or it is because of the stress? Again, if you think irritation is because of stress, thumbs up. If you think it is not, thumbs down. No? Multiple factors? Oh, 1, 2, only 2 thumbs down. So many thumbs up. Not a single reason, okay? Okay. Okay. Dr. Vartika Singh, would you like to say something? You have raised your hand.
No, ma'am. Actually, it was by chance. Actually, mistakenly, it was.
Okay, it's okay. That's perfectly okay. Now let's move to the other question. Do you think depression and anxiety are symptoms of stress? Thumbs up for yes, thumbs down for no. Depression and anxiety are symptoms of stress. Thumbs up for yes, thumbs down for no. No. Yes, yes, yes. Oh, Dr. Manora is sending heart. Okay, that's great. Okay. 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 Your responses are recorded. Thank you. Now the next. Do you think lack of proper sleep is the cause of stress? Are you not able to sleep because of stress? Again, thumbs up and thumbs down. Big yes, okay. Okay. Waiting for next 100 answers. Thumbs up and thumbs down. Oh. Thank you for the answers. Now, please read the question. Do you think that reason of improper sleep is stress? Both the questions are different. Do you think that the reason of improper sleep is stress? Again, yes or no? Okay. Okay. Personally, for me, no. Okay. Can't say it could be. No. Okay. So thank you, participants. Thank you so much for your answers. Maybe it depends. Okay. Okay. So now let's watch a video on the topic stress. Is that audible and visible, Dr. Neetima?
Not audible. It
Now?
is visible but not audible.
It is visible but not audible. Okay.
Have you shared the sound?
Yes, already. Shall I send the link?
Send it across to me.
Yeah, just a second.
I'm coming in 1 minute because
Someone is mentioning YouTube is in stress. Where are you sending me the link?
On WhatsApp. It's done.
Should I tell you the theme?
Participants, please hold on. We have too many questions coming up very soon. Depression, anxiety, irritation. We have so many things to discuss.
I think we'll have to go through the ad that plays. Yeah, Neetima, tell me if you can hear, see my screen.
Yes.
जो दे शक्तिशाली सफाई शक्तिशाली जर्म किल फिनाइल की अधूरी सफाई से पाओ मुक्ति ले आओ शक्ति बाय लाइजॉल सिर्फ 69 रुपए में.
So stress can
you hear
have
the
positive
sound?
and negative effects, and often it has both at the same time. It's not the case that stress is always toxic, and every time you're in a stressed out state, it's like your body betraying you and you're destroying brain cells. I mean, we have a lot of false ideas about stress, and the main one is that it's always a negative state to be in, and it only has negative consequences for your health and your happiness. So the stress mindset effect is all of this research. It shows that people can be protected from a lot of what we think of as the inevitable consequences of chronic stress or severe stress if they hold certain beliefs about what it means to be stressed and their capacity to deal with that stress. So there are a few key beliefs that seem to make people really good at stress. One of the first beliefs that can make people better at stress is the idea that stress is energy you can harness, and that when you feel these symptoms of stress, maybe your heart is pounding or you're breathing faster, or you feel butterflies in your stomach, or even muscle tension, that it's a sign that your body is getting ready to rise to the challenge. And it's actually true. But what's interesting is as soon as people decide to embrace their stress and harness the energy, it actually changes what's happening in your immune system and your cardiovascular system and in your brain. That makes the stress response both healthier and more skillful, so that you actually are more likely to perform well under pressure. You're more likely to be able to connect with others. So the idea kind of allows that natural capacity to emerge. So that's one idea. Another idea is to understand that you don't have to do stress by yourself. So many of us feel like stress is a do-it-yourself project. Everything in life is a do-it-yourself project. I alone can deal with this. I don't want to be a burden on others. Nobody understands what this is like. All those different ways we can feel alone in our stress. And people who have a bigger than self mindset and understand that stress is often a signal that you need to reach out, that you're feeling stressed because you need help or because you're not the only one. And sometimes your body and your brain will make you feel lonely or anxious or overwhelmed in order to nudge you to connect with other people who are going through the same thing or who have resources to support you. And so people have that mindset. Again, they tend to be much more effective at dealing with the big stress. And also they tend to have a stress response that's healthier, that's good for the heart and good for the immune system. And the third key idea is the belief that even if you're going through a stress you would never have chosen for yourself, that it is possible that it can bring out something good in you. So maybe there's nothing good about the situation, like the situation sucks. And also, we know that situations that are traumatic and stressful can bring out our strengths, can help us reprioritize, understand our values, strengthen relationships, point us in a new direction, that capacity to learn and grow from stress is part of it's in our DNA. And people who believe that, again, are more likely to access it. So when you have those mindsets, that stress is energy you can use, that you don't have to do it all by yourself, and that it's possible to learn and grow from any situation. People who have that stress mindset, they just are better at stress. And it doesn't mean it's going to protect you from everything that you don't want in life. But man, it makes people healthier and happier and better able to experience the meaning even in their stress.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay. So it was a very small video and it was about the stress, right? So when you feel stress, something or the other thing, it happens with your body. How do you feel that you are in stress? Either you have a headache, either you feel that something is not right, your mind is not giving you proper signals, you are in some constant fear. So today only I was discussing about this topic with one of my seniors, and the very first thing that he told me, he's at a very higher position, that the prime reason of the stress is fear. Fear of that I'm not happy, that I don't have a social life, fear of that I'm not able to do this thing, fear of I'm not an achiever. Yes, fear of missing out, FOMO, that's a new terminology for all Insta generation. Fear of unknown thing as well. Many a times you say, "Mujhe anxiety or I'm feeling anxious," and I'm having that anxiety. I don't know why. For most of the time, we do not have a reason to give to this stress, but we are feeling this stress. We are feeling as if something we are losing. We have that fear that people, they are not liking us. We have that fear we do not have a social life. We have that fear, oh, how will I do the time management? We have that fear, let me reach back home on time. One or the other fear. And this fear, it is working where? It is working on your body. That's why you're feeling that stress. Everything is coming on this body or this mind. So I'll give you a very small line and you have to complete it. And you have to make a story out of it in 4 to 5 lines. And I want to listen to that story from at least 25% of the participants who are over here. Listen to the line that I'm giving to you. One early morning, I was walking on the streets of my city. One early morning, I was walking on the streets of my city. Please complete it in next 4 to 5 lines. Come out with a story or anything that is coming to your mind. Please do not use ChatGPT. But I want to listen. I want you to complete this story. I'm waiting for your answer. Please, hands up. Any development session is incomplete if we are not speaking. No, I want to listen to the story. No thumbs up. So those who are done with this, done writing the story, you may please raise your hand. Dr. Harsh, I have a fear of telling my story to everyone. That's why we have this session today, stress management.
Hi,
Dr.
ma'am.
Harsh,
Hi, I'm Harsh.
hi, how are you?
I'm good. How about you, ma'am? Your session is amazing. I'm actually thoroughly loving it, every bit of it. Yesterday's session was it was amazing. AI and Coca-Cola and everything was so relatable. And today's session, of course, on a very important topic, this is going amazing. Ma'am, I haven't written anything. Whatever comes to my mind randomly, I'll just share that. So one fine morning, when I was walking through the streets of my city, I realized that how beautiful the environment could be. And I missed on so many important things when I look around the nature, when I look around trees, when I look around people, they are rushing towards their work. Um, of course, I get stressed out at some time that why, I mean, just in a rush of achieving so much, reaching to your workplace on time, and then we are missing on this very important aspect of life wherein we just stop and see around and enjoy the moment. Um, so I believe I'm going to have those kind of, I'll be experiencing such things. At the same time, lot of things must be going on that I have to go back. I have to finish off these many works that are in the list and back to the normal life. And I've also experienced this thing when I used to get up early in the morning and go for a walk. That used to make me definitely very happy. But back of the mind, always it was like, the moment I reach back, I have to finish off work. I have to finish off the kitchen work, and then I have to go back to my workplace. So all these kind of mixed feelings, I'm sure I will be experiencing. So
Okay.
that's
That was a beautiful story, Dr. Harsh. Thank you so much. I don't
Thank you
want
so much.
to write. No, writing will not happen.
Yeah. It all came from inside, and I believe I've experienced this thing when I've experienced this thing, this bit of it. So that came straight from the heart.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Dr. Anurag, Dr. Ratna Raju, I want you to speak.
I think Dr. Krishna Rajan is also raising his hand.
I'm
So
sorry.
you want to speak?
Yes, Dr. Krishna Rajan, you would like to speak?
I'd like to speak only in one sentence, madam. Good evening, madam, once again. I'm located in Chennai location now. I'm working in Chennai location, Chennai city. So one early morning when I was walking in the street light, I wish every day red alerts come so that holidays will be there throughout my academic side. There is no stress at all. Red alerts in Chennai means there is a holidays, madam, given in colleges and schools. So if that red alert message means we don't have colleges or schools, automatically stress will be less.
Okay. That's beautiful. Thank you. Dr. Vartika?
Yeah, good evening, ma'am. How's you and how's everyone over here? Actually, these are the nice sessions which I'm joining. Actually, it's my first time that I'm joining the FDP program. Nowadays I'm working with the career counseling sessions of school students who are in 12th standard. So whenever I get up in the morning, it is totally hustled up how I'm going to perform myself, how I'm going to do anything. But when I reaches the destination, then I calms up my mind, takes a deep breath, and think, okay, I can do it. Then I enters the classroom with a big smile, and whenever I enters that classroom, now the students over there they also welcomes with a great smile, and also that energizes me up. And after that, I takes up the sessions, and also that gives me the confidence. Okay, I can do it, and better I can perform as today I performed. So this is my story, ma'am.
Really great, beautiful. Thank you. Anybody else would like to speak? So I have Dr. Ratta Raju.
Yes, ma'am. Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah, really, the morning, early morning when we walk and when we see the sky, the beautiful sky. In Delhi NCR, we won't get it. But the place where I belongs to, I can see every day the blue sky. So that is a really good feeling. And also, I felt that the privilege that God has given to me to see such a beautiful weather, such a beautiful nature, the people around us. Like so many people don't have that kind of the privilege. So I was so excited and so happy. So that is the feeling I will definitely get it when I woke up and walk in the morning.
Thank you so much. So I can see so many messages, so many good stories. Saw beautiful sunrise, feeling the cozy air bubbles on my face. I saw my teacher of class 1, memories, vegetable vendors, laundry. Oh my God, so many things to do. Early morning list. Okay. Okay. So this was all about what do you want to see or how you want to see your mornings or how you are everyday experiencing, right? That's what you have spoken. Few others, those who have not spoken or not written, must be thinking or must be writing of something. But something or the other thing must be there in your mind. I'm very sure about it. And this is the fact of our life. For most of the time, we don't sit back. We don't ask this question to ourselves. Hey, good morning, Neetima. Good morning, Anurag. Good morning, Mamta. Good morning, Ridhima. We don't say good morning to ourselves. Since 6 a.m. or 5 a.m., we start taking stress. मिल्क बुक कर रहा था, वेजिटेबल्स बुक कर रहे थे, फ्रूट्स बुक कर रहे थे, get up early, wake up early, do your household work, complete the task in hand, reach office on time, take your classes, complete the assessment, and then you have an entire list from your director or from VC or from anyone who's at the leadership position. Come back home, and then again, you have your household tasks or other things to do. When is this time when we say good morning to ourselves? Or when we sit with ourselves? Because the problem is, we don't know where is the problem. What are the stressors in our life? What is the stress in our life? We are experiencing something and we can't give it a name. That was the question. If you are feeling any kind of stress, write a word to it, one word. And that's what we teach to our students also when we do case studies. Identify the problem. But we don't sit back to identify the problem. Where's the stress? What is the stress? So let me take you back to the PPTs. So the big questions remains the same. What is stress? So as defined by Dr. Hens, stress is the non-specific response. Is my slide visible?
Yes, it is. Yes.
Okay. Stress is the non-specific response of the body to any demand made on it. And that's what we are doing. So that's a non-specific response because you don't want to get out of the bed at 5 a.m., but you have to get up because you have to manage the time. You have to manage the work. And when every day, when you have to push yourself to get out of the bed, then someday your body is going to give you some kind of response. And then you will not understand what is my body saying. Few researchers they have conceptualized stress as a demanding or threatening event or a situation. Now, one thing that is very clear, stress is demanding. It is demanding. That is why it is eating you physically, mentally, emotionally, everywhere, cognitively also. And when it is eating you, when it is putting your body or your mental health into a situation which you are not able to cope up, it becomes threatening. Now, from where this stress is coming? What are the stressors in your life? Any internal or external event or any situation that creates the potential for physiological, emotional, or behavioral change in any individual, that becomes a stressor. And most of the time, the first thing that is affected is your behavior. And you may find people that must be telling to you there's something wrong in your behavior nowadays. And the very first are your parents, or your life partner, or your children. How many of you will agree to that? Please raise your thumbs up. That the very first thing that change when you feel this stress is your behavior. Okay, can anyone give me any example where you have notified on your own that your behavior has been changed because you were feeling some or the other stress? Anyone? Any example? Let's make this session very interactive because we can learn from each other's experience. Yes, Dr. Astha? Yes, Dr. Astha? Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, so that's a personal thing when, which I want to share that I lost my mother in 2023. And that was the biggest shock because it was a not a the natural, and it was all of a sudden that thing happened of the family. All of a sudden all the responsibilities came down to me, and I was struggling enough to settle down in my personal life because I got married just 6 months back. I lost my mother and I was working. So all these things coming all together brought so much of stress that the 1 year break that I had was, even I don't know how I was able to pull myself. But then there were some mentors who helped me out to come through that stress. And I that happened to that extent that I took a break from my work, from so many places where people could see me. They were asking where I'm nowadays. So that kind of a thing, and coming back, though that void that has been created can never be fulfilled back. But yes, accepting that and moving on ahead, taking the family, taking all the responsibility ahead, the journey changed altogether. And that's how it took time to me to handle that phase. But I think that stress phase will go gradually. It will not happen overnight, right? So every day fighting ahead, not to put myself low or down, and to face each day gracefully is something which I can share.
Astha, we have to learn a lot from you.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing this, Astha. Dr. Harsh?
Ma'am, as you just said that parents or the partners, they are the one who recognize the stress and the change in behavior. So I would like to share my experience with my son. So when he was in class 6, I could see change in his behavior. Suddenly from being very jolly and he became a little um, a very he used to remain in isolation, alienated from all of us, very quiet in the house. So I could understand something was wrong with him. I keep on asking him, he never shared. Suddenly I tried to find out with school and counselors and everything. Then of course after a few months he could able to overcome the situation, but definitely um, by his behavior I could recognize that something was wrong with him, and it was a very difficult phase, of course. But yes, I was there throughout with him, so that he could able to overcome the stress. So it's basically it's not that we as an adult go through a stressful situation. Even kids, and they I don't know, they probably doesn't know how to share their problems. So so that's how we recognize the behavior. Through behavior we can recognize. Yeah.
So true, Dr. Harsh. I will surely agree with this, because many a times as a faculty also, students, they come to us, right? Because they want to speak their things. They're not comfortable speaking their things to their parents or to their siblings. They want, someone to listen to them without judging them. We have also
Absolutely.
experienced the same thing.
Yeah, true.
Okay. Dr. Monica, would you like to add something?
Yeah, so Neetima ji, I feel that, when it comes to stress, more than anything else, life events bring lot of stress, as one of my dear, colleague just shared. So even, I mean, we all are the part of HSS family, and whosoever are attending, I'm sure they are connecting to us through many ways. So I think we have no, embarrassment or harm to share our personal stories also, because I left my husband, in one of the road accident in 2000, when my son was just 2 months old. So I personally feel that more than anything else in life, the stress is more coming from the life events. But I think again, it varies from person to person and your own mindset, how you take it and how you take it based on your personality or your different, you can say personality traits and your ability to take it up or something like that. So I've seen that, prior to that, I was very introvert. I used to go to college, and then from college, silently, I used to come to my home. But I've seen that after that life event, you can say introvert behavior has suddenly converted to an extrovert. So like that introversion conversion to extroversion was the main transformation in my life at that point in time, due to that transition phase which I faced. So I've seen that, as you rightly said, that stress related to behavior change. So I am one of the live example for my own self. I've seen that, I was very quiet and silent, and then after that, when everything comes on you, and that you have to take it up, and you have to stand up and start walking again. I completely agree with, again, one of my dear colleagues who just shared that if you have good mentors and people around you who support you, who motivate you, it's not about financial support at all, because I think when you're qualified, you don't look for that specifically. You look for more of, that even I'll not say emotional support as well, some kind of, you can say psychological support, that yes, somebody is there with you. Maybe not all the times, but yes, in tough times, maybe in any capacity or any way. So I feel that is one of the most important aspect that we all suffer from. And I think again, it depends upon your own self, because no one will completely eliminate your stress. It is just you and you who can manage it and who can very well overcome it. Others may guide you, others may, mentor you, but I think 100% efforts you have to do on your own to bring it back to the normal life, which generally never happens, because every day will bring something new to you. I think that is what is life is all about. So I thought of sharing this. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Monica ma'am. And one thing that I completely agree is, yourself matters a lot.
Yes.
In this journey, yourself matters a lot. Okay, Dr. Rushali, would you like to add to something?
Yes, ma'am. In my case, if something happens, means everybody has a different personality, right? But there should be someone who is in just a listening mode, no correlation, no past, present, future mode or something like that. But someone should be there who will listen to you, not maybe guide you, but they will just listen to you, and that's how it is. And that will be just relieving my stress level at up to certain extent because of that.
I
And
completely
the
agree.
person, you should be, someone should be there who will listen and not take disadvantage of the situation in any way. So that way it should be, it can be anyone. In my case it was my father. Yeah.
I completely agree, Dr. Rushali. And most of the time, we want someone who don't judge us, right? He or she just listen to us, but don't
Yes.
judge us, right?
No
Now,
correlation, no past, present, and
nothing,
nothing.
nothing.
Just listen and leave
Just
it.
listen. So true. Okay. Well, this session is turning so beautiful, and I have to keep track of the time as well. It is already 7:04. Okay. So, as I was talking about stressors, what are the stressors? And how these stressors they affect us, and especially how they affect our cognitive part. So, if I see stressors, so the very first, what I can say, the primary appraisal, how do we see these stressors? Do we see them as a challenge or do we see them as a threat? So, for example, someone has been promoted to the leadership position. Now, this person can feel this as a stressor. Oh, I have been given a leadership position. Oh my God, what I'm going to do? People will not support me. I know him, I know her. They were not too friendly with me. How will I lead this leadership position? Management will have this much expectations from me. What will I do now in this position? Should I take it? Should not I take it? Will I be able to justify my position? And maybe the other person can see this as a challenge. Oh, that's great. Now I've been promoted to the leadership position. I'm going to do the things that I was not able to do in my previous position. I'm going to change the mindset of the people, those who think negative about me. I'm going to change the face of the department. I will start doing the things where I can come up with the strategies to involve more and more people from my team, from my department. So, how you are taking that stress? That's the first thing. And it matters a lot. How you are seeing that stressor, how you are visualizing it. Right?
टोबो कैसे बोलता है? टोबो कैसे बोलता है? अच्छा चलो.
Dr. Neetima, can you please mute?
Hello?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. Just I'm figuring out where the
Hello?
noise is coming.
On 3 dots.
काय जी तू पैसा दे?
Yeah, you can go ahead.
Thank you. So, how you are visualizing that particular stressor? Are you seeing this as a potential threat or as a coming challenge where you can prove your worth, where you can prove your competency, where you can prove who you are? Maybe another situation where you will come up as a winner. So that's a primary thing, how you are visualizing the stress. Now, if you are visualizing stress as a threat, then what's the second thing that will come to your mind? There are people who only see the problems, and there are people who try to find out the solutions. Right? Are you able to come up with effective options? Or you are just not looking at any options? You're only stressed. I'll come up with a very small story over here. So, there were 2 patients, A and B. And both of them, they were tested having cancer. Now, this A was tested having cancer in the last stage. Oh my God, what will happen with my family? I will be no more after 3 months. What will they do? What will my husband do? What will my children do? I know these. This is the last stage of my cancer. Nobody can. None of the medicine will work on me. Nobody can save me. And patient B, it's okay even if I am at the last stage of my cancer. Nowadays, we have advanced medical facilities, and I completely believe that there is some cure to this cancer as well. Or even I have had 4 months in my hand. I have a lot to do for my family. I can still come up with the things that can help my co-workers, that can help my team. So two different people having the same disease, they both are at the last stage of their cancer, but their way of thinking is different. And that's what we hear in our everyday life as well. When our leader often say, come up with a solution. Please do not walk to my cabin with a problem. It's okay. Yes, there are problems. There are problems at your workplace. There are problems in your life. There are stressors. But how do you see that stressor? First of all, are you seeing that stressor as a threat or a challenge? And even if you are seeing that stressor as a threat, so are you devising a solution? Or you are just sitting with the problem? That you have to decide. Now, this particular diagram or this particular thing, if you see, so what does it indicate? It indicates that the stress management, as rightly said by Professor Monica, you have to initiate to manage this stress. How you are taking this stress, eustress or distress, that's what we say in HR terminology. How are we visualizing these stresses? So I remember 15 years back when computers, we have started using computers 15 years back, yes. And I remember those days of railway ticket booking when everything was done on the papers. And then suddenly computers came in. And now these people, they were provided trainings to use computers for doing the reservations. I remember those days then how they used to press those keys A, B, S. How they have seen this computers. They have seen it something which is going to ruin their work. Something which is going to take off their jobs. And that's how we are seeing AI now. That AI is going to eat our jobs. Stressor. But many people, they are seeing AI as something that's going to accelerate the work. That's going to increase the pace of work. That's going to give us better patterns for making the decisions, more effective decisions rather. So the first thing that we have to work on, what is the problem? Where is the stressor? What is the stressor? Second, evaluate that stressor. Is this stressor is a threat or a challenge? Why do we see if we are going to be late to the university or to the college or to the workplace, then what will happen? What will happen? You have to give a half day, or you have to give a leave without pay. It's okay. It's perfectly okay. You are already in a stress. Please do not take another stress. Start taking things lightly. One day when you will give half day, another day maybe you will give leave without pay. Third day you will understand what is time management. Because from third day onwards, you will start devising the solutions. But the very important thing, please analyze the stressor. For most of the time, we are not able to analyze the stressor. Am I right? Am I right? Are we able to analyze the stresses? Am I right? Thank you so much. Going ahead, there are different signs of stress. We feel emotional stress. we feel cognitive stress, we feel behavioral stress, and we feel physical stress. And when I say I'm in stress emotionally, I'm not happy, I'm not motivated, I'm not happy going to the workplace every day. For most of the researchers who are sitting over here, I hope that that's the first question that we ask in our questionnaire. Are you happy going to your workplace every day? To understand the level of motivation that employees are having to go to the workplace every day. If they're happy, they will go. If they're not happy, they are just dragging themselves. Worrying, agitated, anxious, ab kya hoga, ab kya hoga, feeling confused, don't know what is the answer, where is the answer, what is the stressor, irritated, anger outbursts, and usually on the students. You feel lonely. You may be sitting with 20 people, but still you're feeling lonely in that particular meeting. And then you feel hopelessness. अरे मेरा तो कुछ होगा ही नहीं. You have physical stress. You feel insomnia. You don't get a proper sleep. Shortness of breath. High BP. Hair loss. Whitening of hair. Nausea. Headaches. Or there are some cognitive symptoms of stress. You start forgetting the things. You judge a situation or a person poorly. Poor concentration. So many thoughts coming to your mind. Ab main ye kar lu, ab main ye kar lu. Very poor decision making because you're not concentrating. You're not able to do a better judgment. And that constant fear, that constant worry. Ab kya hoga, ab kya hoga. And then too much of mental overload. And then you have the behavioral signs of stress. You have a difficulty starting the day. That's what I said. You have to push yourself out of the bed. And somebody has rightly said in the message window, I'm not exercising every day. Because you're not happy. You're not happy about yourself. You'll start drinking. You will start smoking. You will start eating more of sugary foods, having more of caffeine, coffee every day. You will procrastinate. You will not take the responsibilities. You will try to avoid the responsibilities. You will be yelling. You will be fighting with the people for no reasons. There will be changes in your appetite. Either you will be eating too much or you will not be eating at all. And then all these nervousness, these signs of nervousness, such as nail biting and all these things, it will be visible to the people. And just looking at you, people will recognize, oh, this particular person is in stress. Let me tell you, it's very easy to recognize that you are in stress. 2 months back, I was in stress, right? And my leader, my director, she asked me, what happened? You are in stress. Sit, I want to sit and I want to talk to you. Now, in my family, people, they were not able to recognize that I'm in stress. But with the change in behavior, that was visible in my personality as a teacher or as a colleague or as a junior, she was able to recognize that I was in so much of stress. She took me out for a cup of coffee in the cafeteria itself. But she recognized it. I was not able to recognize the stressors. Then we sat together for 1 hour and she was able to recognize the stressors. And the only one thing that she told me, take it as a challenge. And that's what I have done. And I'm in a much better state. So let's talk about general adaptation syndrome model, which was given by Hens. I think most of us must be knowing about it, right? So as we all know, Dr. Hens, while he was working on one of his projects, he was able to develop this model, and he has told that how can we find this, how can we fight with stress, or what we can do to manage the stress. So the 3 things that he has told: alarm reaction, resistance, and exhaustion. So he was a medical doctor who came up with this theory of gas, and He says that the alarm reaction, that's the first stage, refers to the initial symptoms the body experience when it is under some kind of stress. When your body starts giving you alarm, there is some kind of stress. So your body has two things. Either it fights or flight. The two response that your body gives usually, fight or flight mode. So this is basically a physiological response to any kind of stress that your body gives. So this is a natural reaction which prepares you either to flee or to protect yourself if you're coming into that situation of stress. Your heart rate increases, your stress hormones, they started coming up. Maybe you can feel some increase in the energy level as well in your body. So this fight or flight response is the alarm reaction that your body gives when it feels the first level of stress. The second stage is the resistance stage. After the initial shock of a stressful event and having a flight or a fight response, the body starts repairing itself. It releases a lower amount of cortisol, your heart rate, your blood pressure, it normalizes. Although the body has come up to the recovery phase, but it is still on a very high alert. Ab kya aayega? I'm ready to fight with it. And if you overcome stress and the situation is no longer an issue then your body continues to repair itself until your hormone levels, your heart rate, your blood pressure, they do not come to the pre-stress levels. And the last stage is your exhaustion stage. So this stage is of prolonged or chronic stress. When you feel, okay, this is the chronic stage of prolonged stress. You are struggling with the stress for a very longer period of time and you have been drained out physically, emotionally, cognitively, and your body does not have any strength now to fight. So now you are giving up. You are feeling fatigue, you are feeling burnout, you are feeling depressed, you are feeling anxiety. You do not have any tolerance level now. If anybody says something to you, you are busting out of anger. So these are the three stages that has been defined by Dr. Haynes. Now what happens when your body is into too much of stress? You come up with the medical problems. You may lose a job. You may have a family breakdown. You may feel traumas. Now your body is not able to fight up with this kind of stress. No fight, no flight, blood pressures are high. Prolonged stress is taking a toll over your body. You are getting infections and maybe a cancer also. As one of the studies has said, that one of the reasons now why cancer is increasing is because of the stress. And you all know diabetes. Number of diabetic patients have increased. It's because of the stress and the lifestyle that we say. Since it's not possible to eliminate the stressors, however, it is important to know how to cope up with these stresses. Now, how can you cope up with these stresses? If you are able to identify the stresses, if you are able to take the appropriate steps at the right time to fight with the threats, or you may be viewing them as a threat. Your body is getting a right time to repair, to recover itself. That's what this gas model, it says, and it advocates as well. So how will you cope up? What are the different ways that you can cope up? Oh, again, Nripendra ma'am, I am sending you.
Please.
Yeah, and I just request you. Yeah, just a second.
I haven't got it yet.
Hold on, Nripendra ma'am. I was so lost in the session that I haven't done it before. I have done it now.
Okay, I'm just playing it. Just let me know when you're able to hear or not. Please tell me if you're able to hear the audio.
This video is part of Be Real,
Okay.
Building Stress Resilience in Early Adolescents' Lives, a public engagement project from the University of Oxford. Our aim is to engage teenagers with evidence-based science and practices of stress resilience. Sometimes things pop into our head that we'd rather not think about. Our heart thumps, we feel sick, we panic. We might worry about how we look, exams or social media. Stress can feel horrible, and we usually do our best to avoid it. But did you know that when we face stress head on, our brains become stronger, and we become better able to cope with change? We learned our stress responses millions of years ago. Our bodies need them because they help us to survive. But there's a sweet spot. A little stress gives us energy and focus, helping us to concentrate and boost our skills. But stressing about stress can push us over the edge. Coping with stress is a skill we can learn. Things might be difficult at first, but with practice, we get there. So, what happens in our brain when we're stressed? When something makes us feel bad, angry, or scared, the limbic part of our brain, the emotional part, switches on. The amygdala is part of the limbic system and is there to signal threat. The amygdala sets off an alarm, first in our brain and then our body. We might respond in a fight, flight, or freeze way. These responses evolved to help us survive in earlier times. The things we stress about today are different, but our brains and bodies respond like our ancestors. The most important skill is learning to recognize these feelings so we can decide what to do. Sometimes flight is needed to keep us alive. At other times we have to deal with stresses to get rid of them. The part of the brain that helps to control stress is called the prefrontal cortex. It isn't fully developed until we're in our 20s, so learning to manage stress as a teenager is extra tough. It's normal to sometimes feel overwhelmed. It's not our fault, and because our brains are still growing, we might feel this even more than adults. But we can train it. And because our brains are still growing, our teenage years are the perfect time. The more we practice dealing with stress, the stronger our brain gets and the better we feel. So, start with the first skill. Tune into your body, recognize signs of stress, and think of ways to take action. Doing this will help change how you feel in your body and mind. You will also literally change your brain, making it stronger and more stress resilient. Start practicing. Even small changes can make a difference. Notice where you feel stressed and where you can take action.
Thank you so much, Dr. Neetima. Okay. So this was through a small video that how we can cope up with this stress. But these are videos. I want to listen to your experiences and your ways of coping up the stress. How you have coped up the stress. Please. Let us know your ways, because obviously through you only we can understand how to cope up the stress. Yes, Professor Monica.
Yeah, so Neetima, as I shared with you, like when I lost my husband in a road accident, I actually saved myself and protected myself through a lot of meditation. Though I was not a very at this age of 24 years, you are not much exposed to spirituality and what meditation is all about. But I have seen that, even being with myself for 5 minutes and just closing eyes and, just, keeping your mind calm and bringing equanimity to your emotions. I have seen that even 5 minutes of practice every day has helped me a lot. I'm not a person who will sit for longer hours for meditation and all that. I don't believe that it is the time span. The more you do meditation for longer hours, the more you will become a person who is balanced and having that kind of equanimity. So I'm telling you very honestly that more than now 25 years, 5 minutes of meditation brings me lot of equanimity and calmness to my mind, and give me clarity in my decision making and my problem solving, and how to start my day and how to quick start it in a positive way. So I think that positivism and just 5 minutes of I'll not call it fully meditation, because I don't do any chanting of mantras or something, but still, out of my very little understanding of what spirituality is all about, I just remain with myself for 5 minutes and peacefully start my day with that 5 minutes of meditation. That's it. That has helped me a lot, and even till today, I'm able to take wise decisions whenever I stuck up anywhere. So I don't react much. But yes, at times we all are human beings. We know the reaction comes automatically out of social stressors or anything else at workplace. But I practice and treat that way, that I should actually be calm and quiet and composed. And I've seen in myself also a lot of change. If you see my style 10 years down as a leader or as a head, I have seen there's lot of change in myself when it comes to my own behavior and preaching in myself that calmness and that kind of equanimity. So I think it's all has become me. I've become the better version of myself year after year. This is what I experienced and I witnessed. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Monica ma'am. And Professor Nripendra Singh has already joined us. So, and he has said hello. And through this hello, sir has given me a hint that my session has to be started on time. So, okay. Thank you, everyone. I don't have much time. Otherwise, I really want to listen it to others also. How do they cope up the stress? What are the things that they are doing up to cope up the stress? Some of the things that I can read over here are written: sports, yoga, games, playing with the children, going to the shopping. And I think that's the most beautiful thing that we can do, going to the shopping. Okay. I think the very important thing to cope up with the stress is your inner happiness. By doing anything, going for a shopping, or doing yoga, going to a gym, practicing mindfulness as somebody has written, right? Whatever you're doing, one thing that you have to constantly work on is your inner happiness. Because if you're not happy, if you're not in happy state of your mind, rather, you're not able to work on the stresses that you're coming to your life. You're not able to identify them at the first place. Anything and everything that is coming to you, you will see it as a threat. Why? Because you're not happy. You have the problem with one or the another thing in your life. The very first thing to cope up with the stress is your inner happiness. And every one of us, we have to start working on our inner happiness. Please do not find your happiness in others. Be happy, and that's the only way to cope up the stress in your life. With this, thank you. And thanks to all the people for the constant engagement throughout this session. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Neetima, for such a wonderful session. And welcome, Professor Nripendra Singh, for joining right on time when Neetima was about to wrap up. And we just had a session on stress management by her. And now we'll be listening to you on. Neetima, you'll read Sir's profile so that everybody is aware about Sir's credentials and the achievements that he has achieved.
Hello, sir. Good evening.
Hi, good evening, everybody.
Thank
Good
you.
evening. Good evening.
Thank you so much, sir. And I can see all Christmas decor.
That's correct. This is Christmas time, so I thought I will make it more Christmassy.
Okay.
I'm here at my home place. I mean, my native place in Lucknow, in India, but I am missing my home in the US, so where my kids are, and so this is actually very similar to where I live, and the way we set up our houses during this time of the year. You can see some snowflakes and those the real trees outside home. They are all. This is exactly where we live, up in Appalachian Mountains.
Right, sir. That's so beautiful, sir. Thank you so much. So without taking a lot of
Thank
time,
you.
I'll quickly introduce sir. And it's my pleasure introducing sir to all of you. Dr. Nripendra Singh is a tenured full professor of marketing in the Department of Business, Economics and Communication at the College of Science, Technology and Business, Pennsylvania Western University. He is a recipient of Fulbright Scholarship, a flagship program of United States Department of State, Bureau of Educational and Cultural Affairs. He completed Fulbright research at the Pennsylvania State University. As visiting research scholar, Dr. Singh visited renowned institutions such as University of California at Berkeley and Technology University, Engine. He is a postdoctorate fellow of the Global Institute of Flexible Systems and Technology under the aegis of Indian Institute of Technology, Delhi. He earned 2 doctorate degrees and 2 MBA degrees. As a certified professional, he completed Preparing Future Faculty program at Iowa State University, US. He is Campus to Capital Fellow of Bard College, New York. Dr. Singh is an avid researcher and is on the editorial board and reviewer committee of several reputed journals. He has published and presented more than 100 research articles in reputed journals and conferences. He is the president and director of International Association of Technology and Management and Clarion Consulting Center. He mentors and advises young faculty members, research scholars, and undergraduate students globally. We welcome you, sir, for this 6 days online FDP program sponsored by AICT. And thank you so much, sir, for accepting our invitation and to be with us for this particular session. Session is all yours, sir.
Thank you so much, Neetima. It is a pleasure to be with all of you here today. And so let me see if I can share my screen with you all. And I'm trying to see how this works. See, yesterday I thought maybe I saw Dr. Shah, right? Professor Shah from Georgia State, and he was having the same kind of thing because we are very much used to what we call Zoom, right? We are not so much used to Google Meet or Teams. So that's another reason why we struggle, or he was struggling and I'm struggling today, honestly. But let me, oh, okay.
So we figured out the problem then. So if you put your slides on the slide share mode, the full screen mode, and then share your screen, then it will work absolutely fine.
I did exactly that. So thank you. And I'm thinking that, so you're saying if I do entire screen, right?
Yeah, you share the entire screen.
Okay, perfect. And then I do share. Okay, and then I'm also struggling with my laptop here because this is my...
Neetima, is it okay if you have the slides and you can share it?
No, it's okay. I mean, I got it, and Maybe sometimes, you know what, it takes a few minutes to share with people, and then now I don't know if okay. I think it's being shared, right?
It's fine. You just change the slide one so that we can see if it's moving or not.
Okay, let me see. Uh, okay.
Yes, it's perfect, sir. You can start. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So, thank you, everybody, once again, and good evening, everybody, and also Neetima and everybody who's in the organizing team. I think Anubhav Ashish ma'am was there, right? And yesterday we had these other senior colleagues from Jaypee Business School and JIIT. Thank you again, everybody, for having me, for this warm welcome, and all the participants. Uh, the topic given to me was related to ocean strategies, right? So I thought maybe I'll just talk a little bit about this three types, like, and I'm sure most of you are aware. And so just bear with me if you know these things, and I'm just repeating something which you already know. But what I'm trying to do here today is, I thought maybe it will be good if I just kind of give you a quick idea for those who don't know, or maybe who need to maybe refresh their memories about these stories and these strategies. Sorry, or just to give a kind of recap to whatever you know already. And then what we will do is, I will I will try to see if how I can relate it to higher education, and discuss, how this sort of new ocean strategies, like we talk in corporates, like how we can use this in higher ed, and maybe what I do at Pennsylvania Western University at Clarion campus in USA. So I'll just share my teaching strategies, or maybe what I do, which after reading this new ocean strategies and whatnot, I thought maybe uh, I could relate it to this. And so I thought maybe I'll share that, and then maybe we'll open for the question answer session, or for a little discussion. But one of the things I do is I keep my sessions interactive, but I could not honestly get time to do what I wanted to do. So this was very last minute, right? And Professor Neetima will probably agree that this is how we decided. It was not 100% sure that we're going to do this, but I could not say no to her, because she's such a wonderful colleague, and all at JBS are wonderful colleagues. So let me start here with these three strategies which corporates follow. And so just to give you a little introduction on how these, what are the competitive landscape, or maybe how we can understand the competitive landscape today, and what are the strategic choices businesses sometimes they have to follow. They may or may not like it, but then it is competitive. uh, as we all know, some regions, some parts of the world, like in India, China, they are more competitive, and as compared to other places. Western world is very, very saturated, of course, and then it also depends on which industry, what we are talking. But then as we see, most of these things, like the theme of this session is also innovation. And yesterday we saw that how AI and other things are working these days, and everything. We cannot predict, next 5 years what's going to happen, what we have been doing. And so the same stands true for the business world. How businesses have been doing their businesses might change in the next few years. And more so for specific industry related to IT or maybe services more than other manufacturing industries. But then most of these things are applicable, that there is fierce competition, there is, it's a dynamic world. And so businesses have to survive or sustain. And for that, they have to, make some choices. Now, these choices can be, appropriate choices. Sometimes they have to compete with each other, what we call as red ocean strategies, very, very fierce competition, cutthroat competition, what we call. And then sometimes, companies find a better path, better strategies, better ways, better markets where they or maybe you can say that they have better products by which they can do something which is, innovation, right? They can innovate their product or services, and then they can do whatever they have to do in a space where there is not so much of competition, which we call blue ocean strategies. And then the new ocean strategies, which is, of course, something which is not, maybe sometimes not explored or maybe hidden, but or maybe, like what we call sometimes disruptive strategies. So let's see what we have here. So for the red ocean strategies, just to keep it very simple and give you an idea about what I was telling you about red ocean strategies is, it has, so if you look at the competitive space, value proposition, and the focus of this, red ocean strategies involve competing in existing markets. So there is an existing market, and as you can see, the red ocean above in the picture, and there are sharks or maybe other fishes, and they are all fighting for that in the same market to have their own share, or maybe share of the pie, what we call, right? And then value proposition in terms of businesses focus. Generally, it is on offering similar or same or similar type of products or services. Having some differentiation, or maybe having some kind of, mostly it's what kind of values you're offering, or maybe what kind of services you're offering, or maybe sometimes, the prices can be a key determinant of differentiation in this kind of scenario where there is fierce competition. The focus is generally, the emphasis is placed on beating the competition and capturing a large market share. And therefore, this is struggle when there is more competition in the market is known as, red ocean, where companies do what they do to survive or to sustain their business. Slightly opposite is the blue ocean strategy, where there are actually companies found new markets. Sorry for this overlap. But then, the strategies involve creating new markets or value propositions. So something which was not available before for the market, or in the products or the services which are being offered. And then the innovation is generally a business focus on creating something new for the customers, some new products or some new features in the existing products or services that meet customers' needs in the way that competitors do not. And that creates a value. So the emphasis is placed on creating value for customers and exceeding their expectations from whatever existing products are available. And we'll talk about this in a few minutes with some examples, and then it'll be more clear if it is not now. And then the new ocean strategy is essentially something which has not been explored or maybe hidden. And so it's called a new ocean strategy, which aims to aims for rapid and exponential growth in a new or emerging market. So the market was not explored by the existing products or new products or maybe new companies, and that's why this is, new ocean strategy. The ecosystem businesses focus on building, developing that ecosystem and then leveraging on collaborations, maybe something which was not available, for example, in one market, maybe a Western world where there are things which were available before and something which was not available in a not so developed maybe economy. And then there are collaborations, companies tie ups, because especially because of the technological and all these innovations, how we are connected like a global village. So anything which is available in one market uh, kind of creates a need or aspiration in the other part of the world, because of which people are forced, companies are forced to bring those kind of products or services to the other part of the world. And then that's how it's happening today in the global markets. And then so essentially I was mentioning about this disruptive innovation, which is many times also kind of understood that this is maybe many times it's the disruptive innovation which is also kind of considered as a new ocean strategy, because there was something already available. For example, if you remember iPhones before, like in the phone market, before, maybe if you recall, maybe 10 years back, a decade back, there was not, these kind of smartphones were just starting then. And people were using essentially phones for communication. But these days, these phones are not just for communication, but much more, right? They are more than kind of a device which people have become dependent on, not just for communication, but they do lots and lots of things. And many times it's kind of, for few, it's just, you cannot separate them from their phones, just like laptops or other machines. Their survival in many ways is, and maybe even for these newcomers, not for like like Gen Zs or Gen Alpha or even all these younger generation, they are much more addicted to phones these days, just because phone is not just for communication, but much more than that. And therefore, sometimes these disruptive innovations, and same way, if you remember the phone when Kodak used to be the camera of those days, and then how these phones start taking pictures, and then digital camera, and all those disruptions that happened actually eliminated the use of phone, use of camera, those traditional camera, uh, and most people use their phones just to take pictures and whatever they used to do with the cameras before. So I think that's another thing, why things were not existing the way they are today, and therefore these disruptions or disruptive innovations are also comes under new ocean strategies. So what's the key difference between these strategies? If you look at this in terms of, in these parameters like markets, competition, value proposition, or focus, if you look at this, the markets, red ocean strategy is competing within the same market or the existing market, right? So there are multiple products satisfying the same needs for the customers, and then they are all fighting for the same market and market share, and therefore it's a fierce competition, right? The blue ocean strategy is essentially a new market, or finding a new market, new consumers, or new geographical region where they can those products were not available, or those services were not available before. And therefore, it's a new market, and in the blue ocean strategy. For the new ocean strategy, it's emerging. So the market has not yet evolved. The product is new for that market, or the innovation is new for that market, and therefore it is known as. emerging market, right? For that kind of products or services. For competition, if you see, there's an intense competition in the red ocean strategy, minimal competition or no competition in blue ocean strategy, and kind of considered as disruptive competition or disruptive innovation for the new ocean strategy, because it's totally a new service or a new product, and it has kind of made existing product or the services obsolete, and therefore there is kind of disruption there. In terms of value proposition, the companies or the products or the services, they offer the same or similar value proposition, and therefore there's a competition in that market, high level of competition in the market. But if you look at the blue ocean strategy, it's unique. So the value proposition is unique. It's something new for that market, from that product or the services. And for new ocean strategy, it's kind of transformation or transformative, because people have not tasted it, will have not used it or experienced that, whatever services or products are offered. And so in terms of focus, the focus is to capture market share in red ocean strategy. In blue ocean strategy is kind of to create value for their customers, because it's a new market, it's a new product or service, and the idea is to create satisfaction for their customers, and that can happen only by creating value. In the new ocean strategy, it is because everything is new, the market is new, the product is new, the services are new, and maybe many times unfamiliar, and therefore you have to develop the entire ecosystem for the growth, or maybe for the learning or education of the service or the product, which is the new to the market, to the consumers. Let's see this, by the help of some examples. So Walmart, or I was actually a few days back, I realized that I visited a market which was known as Best Price, I guess. So the Best Price is in the Flipkart. Best Price in Flipkart. I was aware slightly, but then I was very happy to see that's a Walmart, because Walmart or the big retailers like Walmart are in cash and carry are not allowed still in Indian market, and therefore, but I knew that that's Walmart, and I was very happy to see that Walmart here in Lucknow. So Walmart is a leading retailer, and I'm assuming that most of you are aware. It's like Big Bazaar. Actually, not Big Bazaar. It's much bigger than Big Bazaar, and different in many ways. But then it's a leading retailer in the world. Not so much known like Amazon as an online retailer, because it was there as a brick and mortar, and it's still there in many countries in the world. But it has also started. It also has online presence, and Flipkart is part of Walmart. Major stakes of Flipkart are with Walmart today. And so if you talk of red ocean strategy with the help of Walmart, which is a leading retailer, so the strategy of Walmart, or maybe stores like Big Bazaar, is that they focus on price, right? So because of the price, and these are big giant retailers, what they can do is they can really negotiate, and they can have very, very affordable prices for the products which they keep. So so that is actually that brings into that fierce competition, and many times it makes small grocery retailers unsustainable, because they can manage to keep the prices so low, and also so they focus on price competition when they are competing in the market, and then also on the efficiency. because many times, people like Walmart or Big Bazaar, they are so big, or Amazon or Flipkart, they are so big that they can be very efficient and at the same time keep the prices low. They can have a lot of product varieties and different categories of products at the same time, right? And therefore people prefer to go to these big giant retailers more as compared to other retailers, and therefore it's a tough call for customers, but it's a tough call for also retailers. And then there's competition in the market. So coming to the blue ocean strategies, the example here is Tesla. So Tesla, I don't know, I'm not sure. I was told that Tesla is not present in Indian market. I mean, not available. I don't know. I've not seen it here, at least in Lucknow. But Tesla, if you are aware that it has revolutionized the automotive industry worldwide, especially because of their electrical vehicles, right? And the key is their technology, the battery which they have created, and so that's the key because it is electrical vehicles which Tesla offer, and therefore it's kind of a blue ocean strategy because the electrical vehicles were not so much available in the market when they launched this product. And the key reason for the success is not just the electrical vehicle and the savings which it brings, but also and the reason is sustainability, because it makes the environment pollution free, and therefore because it does not have those gases, right? The exhaust and those the gas means the petrol or the diesel, which is used in other engines, right? And therefore, these are more sustainable and environmental friendly products, and therefore it's like a perfect example for blue ocean strategies. Now, for the new ocean strategy, the example here is SpaceX. Now, SpaceX, if many of you may have heard, SpaceX is also owned by Tesla Group or Elon Musk. He's the owner of Tesla and also SpaceX, and that is in many ways seen as a disruption in the space industries, especially because they are making these rockets and making it reusable rockets, and so people have started booking. I don't know if you're aware that through SpaceX you can go to you can go and take a ride in the rockets of space, and then many times you can also go, if you desire to, on moon, and they can take you there and then they can bring you back. So that's kind of a space exploration and all of those good things which many people actually in the world, they have a desire to explore. And so SpaceX is kind of helping them fulfill their dreams. And so it's a new ocean strategy because it's unknown. People are not aware, things which are unheard, right? But these services or products are being offered today, and therefore these are all can be considered as a new ocean strategy for companies. Let's see some principles or the basic concepts related to these strategies, why they are used, especially the blue and the new ocean strategy. What does it mean? So the first principle is the value innovation. Now, at the core of the marketing is consumer, right? So at the core of the marketing is kind of creating the value for your customers. So a perfect example of how this principle works or how this strategy can be successful is when you can think about, or a company can think about creating a new value or creating a value for their customers, whether existing or new, by bringing in some innovation or bringing in creating a valuable product or services. So for example, Southwest Airlines, you may have heard of Southwest Airlines. This is the first airline, probably in the world, which started with a low cost and no frill, what we call airlines. So the idea was, and they are very, very popular in United States of America, USA, because they make flying affordable. And now I can see, I was not surprised, but I was happy to see how many people started flying here in India. Back then, maybe a decade or two, there were not so many airlines, neither so many people were flying. But then, and I can see that it has become very, very affordable, and many people, and that's why many, actually not many, but most people have started flying from point A to point B, because it's one, the systems are there, the infrastructure is there, and second, it has become affordable. Back then, things were very, very expensive. So Southwest Airlines, what they did was they removed all the amenities and maybe other offerings, and then they tried to keep the prices, the fare of the tickets, so much affordable that everybody can actually use the services. The second principle is eliminate, reduce, raise, and create, or ERRC grid, which essentially means that companies who want to succeed in a blue ocean, or maybe adopt a blue ocean strategy or a new ocean strategy, should follow this principle of eliminate, reduce, raise, or create, or ERRC grid, which essentially means that companies who do this, they identify factors of ERRC. So, for example, IKEA is a perfect example, and many of you know. I don't know, IKEA is really here in India. I'm not sure 100%, but IKEA is one of those very well-known examples in the world for innovation. And again, a perfect example of blue ocean or new ocean strategies, because what they did was, IKEA is a furniture store in layman's term, and what they do is they provide stores which are actually furniture, sorry, which you can assemble on your own, and so they can be they can be packed in a way that even a large sofa set or dining table, or maybe other reading table or study table or chairs or any other stuff in furniture, they can just dismantle it, and then actually it is dismantled and packed very, very, very compact packing. So these are all innovations, because furniture back then was never thought like, for furniture. I don't know now in market, still we have to ship that through a truck or a big truck or something. Otherwise it's kind of hard, right? But IKEA made it so affordable, actually keeping that prices also low, and also to carry, because transportation was one of the major costs there. So they eliminated these, a lot of store assembly services, salesmen, and all of those things. And DIY means, do it yourself kind of thing, where people can take the packet or maybe packed furniture, whether it is table or chair or sofa set. And then what they can do is they just can keep it in their car, and then they can go and they can assemble at their home on their own. So it's very, very, they eliminated many things, reduce the cost, raise the awareness, or maybe the standards of furniture. Because if you see IKEA furniture, it is really very, very creative, very innovative, and so they came up with all these innovations in their furniture in the DIY mode, and which was unheard before, right? So that's another principle which companies follow. Then the reconstruct market boundaries, which is kind of like, so you have to go beyond the existing industry. So not just looking at the traditional industry where you have, and I was talking about this Apple iPhone at the beginning. So Apple iPhone, just like I mentioned that it is not just used, or any phone, any smartphone today, it's not just used for communication. Actually, it is more used for entertainment and other features, like you can do emails and text and take pictures and use camera and whatnot, right? Or music and for the entertainment. So you can do if you don't have a laptop, even if I mean, many times it happens that you are driving and then you suddenly or remember that you need to be present somewhere or talk, and you can virtually connect on Zoom or like this whatever Team or Google Meet. You can actually do it on your phone today. So those are all productivity features, entertainment, music, movies, everything you can see. So it is used more for those than communication. So that's looking beyond your existing industry. Reach beyond existing demand. So again, understand customers' new needs, or maybe explore the hidden needs, right? And their preferences. Like, for example, Nintendo is a good example. Because it simplified the gaming for people of all ages and skill levels. And I don't know if you know, there's a picture here, Nintendo gaming consoles. So what happened is these companies, they thought about the hidden needs, or maybe identifying the hidden needs for their customers, or for the customers, or the products or the services which were existing, but maybe not having those kind of demand from the existing whatever was the product. So reach beyond existing demand. So kind of identifying what else you can do, how you can innovate in that product, and then take it to the next level. Overcome key organizational hurdles. A perfect example is Tata. Tata is a well-known brand here in India, especially, and maybe all over the world today. With those cars, in German-made cars, I can't remember, Range Rovers and all those other brands which Tata owns today. So overcoming the key organizational hurdles is another principle for companies who want to adopt the blue ocean strategies, or who do adopt the blue ocean strategies or the new ocean strategy. They have to face some kind of internal resistance. And Tata is a perfect example, because how they are a big conglomerate. They are so diversified. They are almost in every sector, every industry, right? You name the sector or industry, and Tata will be there, whether it is Tanishq or in jewelry, or maybe the Tata Salt to Tata Cars to airlines and whatnot. So you name it and it's there. And this is only possible because they are so caring, and Tata is actually well known for having all the employee friendly policies since their inception, since they started back then. And they did many of those good things because they empower their employees. So that's a very, very important thing to learn, that how you have to overcome key organizational hurdles if you want to do something like this kind of blue ocean or new ocean strategies. Again, one more principle, which is build execution into strategy, is like, you just don't think about the strategy, but you have to execute it the way you have, you have to have a model, or you have to have a clear-cut path to how you'll execute your strategy, not just lip service, but actually do it. So, for example, the best example can be Starbucks. And again, I'm sorry, I don't know if Starbucks is in the Indian market. I guess it is. So what happens is that, Starbucks, when they start from United States, I can't remember where, but then I think in California somewhere, but then they spread, and today it's worldwide. It's a global brand name. Everybody knows Starbucks, and it is available in one form or the other, but then definitely it is very well known for its coffee. And so what they did was they aligned their resources to ensure effective implementation of their strategy. They train their baristas, or maybe train the people who make coffee. So good training, and repeated training, store designs or layouts, and then again monitoring the performance metrics, especially the customer satisfaction, keeping to their taste and preferences. So that's how Starbucks is Starbucks. Started very, very small, and then today it's a global brand. Other examples, and I may not, I may like to skip many of these things because I think I'm taking a lot of time here. So the other examples, Netflix is available, and I'm sure here it is. There are so many Hindi programs on Netflix, so and it is viewed all over the world, right? So Netflix, they brought this subscription model. They were the one, right? And back then, those brick and mortar, those who are of my age may remember brick and mortar video rental stores, and those DVD rentals and all of those. Today we talk of streaming services, of course, because of technology, right? But then this was a subscription model which was started, and today's subscription model is a big business strategy, whether it is Amazon or whether it is Netflix or any other. Companies are actually thriving on subscription model, because it's the number game, right? So Netflix did what they did, and we know today it's number one streaming services, almost, and bring by this innovation, and bringing this innovation of subscription model, using technology, of course. And then the Tesla is also kind of an example which we have already touched upon. Luxury electric cars, the key is the battery, right? And so they developed this, and again, the sustainability is a big push to how they developed the Tesla. And today you have even the Tesla trucks, the electric trucks, and they are very, very powerful. And they look beautiful. They are smoke-free, or there's no emission, and then very good cars. Okay. So the whole idea is that, and yesterday I think he told you, Professor, that Professor Shah from Georgia State, he mentioned about the importance of idea, right? How Wharton, and he gave you that story of Wharton, right? Told you that story where Wharton did this, took AI and the students and those ideas. Many companies, many economies, right? Many governments and those business associations, or for they actually do a lot of this idea generation, and companies, within companies also there. And this is probably an example, the picture from some company where they have these post-it notes, and they ask employees for the ideas, and that's what people should do. The idea is the key. So because that idea brings, like, and then you can select that from those ideas or brainstorming sessions. You can ask people for newer ideas, because the whole game today is about thinking about how to make your product or services, how to make it or create value. So create with these ideas. The whole idea is that the businesses need to learn or understand the needs of their customers and create value for them. So that's very, very important Sorry, am I not on time or what? Okay, so we're coming close to time. Okay, so look for customers' needs. That's the key. Now, I'm going to give you a quick two examples of American Precast Industries LLC and Kivo Cold Brew. These are two companies which are from where I am, Clarion, Pennsylvania. And so I can see that these companies have actually, they actually came up with this idea, and they are serving the customer need. Let me show you a little example. Hello, does anybody have a question? Okay, so let me quickly complete this. American Precast, this is a company. Can anybody, if you have a question, please let me know. Otherwise,
I think by mistakenly someone has gone on unmute. I'll just mute them, sir.
Yeah. Thank you. So American Precast, as you may have seen in other European markets, these, how you make these concrete walls or maybe brick walls, which we make here. But, like what we call RCC, and then, we have these machines which have all the cements and concrete, and they're mixed, and then they're just poured in. That's something similar happens, and this was again some kind of an innovation which happened in this manufacturing, or maybe however you call it, this industry of concrete business. And so this is a very successful business and a huge innovation in the way which we have been traditionally making the walls, or maybe housing, or any of these things. Even the lamppost, for example, these are from our area. This is very close to my neighborhood where I live. If you can see the streets and the lampposts, right, or the street lights. So if you can see these black lampposts, they are actually on a pillar. So this pillar is not made from scratch there, but these are actually already built from these already created concrete, like concrete and cement, and they just bring that. They are already pre-made. They will bring it, and they'll just put the lamppost there. So it has become very, very successful. Even there was warehouses for Google and Amazon's in our region, where these people, they created their warehouses by using these already pre-made slabs, concrete slabs. So it's a very, very powerful business. Now, why do I know this? Because, and that's another thing I'm going to touch upon very quickly, is my students actually worked with them during my course. So I'll touch base on this a little bit in a moment here. Kivo is something like, how you brew the coffee, right? Excuse me. So many times people, when they have this hot brewing system, like normal, how traditionally it is done, it has a little bitter taste, and therefore what this guy, and this is also one of my students who came up with this idea of cold brewing. So the idea was probably there, but then that not really available in the market. So you'll be surprised that he designed this by using that 3D printer. So he created this small, excuse me, a small plastic gadget for cold brewing, pressing the coffee beans, and then just using the cold water. And so it is catching up now in United States, the cold brewing, and he has come up with his own company. So that's the kind of innovation we were talking about, and the entire FDP is on innovation. So one of the things is how people in different parts of the world, how do they do what they do, and how we do what we do here in India. He's my student. He created the 3D with the 3D printer, this small kind of pieces of plastic to cold brew the coffee, just like how other the manufacturers do, the big companies you see doing. And then today he developed a small business But he has a big website and everything, and probably successful. Okay, so why all this, how this innovation helps in businesses in many ways, but then what is there for us in this? I thought maybe teaching innovations in higher ed are very important, and I do two of the teaching innovations in my courses in marketing, and I'm a marketing professor, not a strategy professor. So what I do is I teach international marketing, and I thought maybe, like everybody else, I was also teaching international marketing by using lectures or the books, the traditional way. But then I realized that, it's not really, I'm not able to, because I am an expatriate in many ways, right? I'm teaching there. I'm from India originally, taught here for so many years. And I thought maybe, let's do some innovation in teaching international marketing. So what I did, and I realized that I'm talking to them, I'm trying to help the students understand, how different markets are different in the international space, but they are not understanding the way they should because of the lack of experience, or maybe lack of opportunity to discuss from people who are diverse, who look diverse, different than you, who have diverse culture, different than yours, right? And therefore, and then I realized that the students do make these projects on international markets and whatnot, but then again, they take the help of Google, and then they don't understand much, right? They just complete all this thing, but at the end of the course, if you ask them, really, have you understood anything? You will find that many times they have not really understood what international marketing really means, international markets really means. And therefore, what I did was an innovation in my teaching. Now, what I do is, and I can do this with JBS students or any other school in India, because I do collaborate with international schools, business schools. So in my class, my students work on a project to develop a marketing plan, let's say, with students sitting in France, so students sitting in India, students sitting in maybe South Africa and Indonesia. So what I do is, my students work with those students just like they do it within their own groups, and then they will create a marketing plan. And they will create it for an international market. So they'll do it for India or South Africa or France or Indonesia, which is what I did. My students have already done a lot of these projects in collaboration with foreign students. And that is helping them a lot. Their understanding of international market, the challenges, the real cultural differences, that everything has come up so well, like in terms of helping them understand international marketing in the real sense. Now, one of the things is why I'm doing that is because, as I mentioned to you, it's not just the lack of understanding, but lack of interest. And many of you may have heard this word HIP, or high impact practices. So what happens is that when there are some practices, like, for example, service learning, or what you call the project-based learning, or experiential learning, or maybe many other different, or research, right? Undergrad research. Those are all ways of how you can actually engage students' mind, make them interested in learning, and they can actually, as you can read from my slide, that these practices actually help people learn a lot. Students get interested when they are engaged, right? And that's how, it helps develop better citizens, better education, and it fulfills that the goal. And therefore, high impact practices should be used in teaching and learning, even in higher education. And that is practiced everywhere. I'm sure people practice it here too. And that's what I did in my international marketing course. So this is a little bit of literature here. This is hybrid high impact pedagogies. And this is my pedagogy is also hybrid high impact pedagogy, because I'm using more than one high impact practices. I use service learning, I use study abroad kind of immersion program, because they are working, actually they are not moving from their place, but they are still working with international folks. They are doing research, they are doing some kind of internship. So, and this course is, by the way, this pedagogy is developed by me for my 2 courses. The other course is marketing problems, as you can see here. And I have actually started a small consulting center at my university, which is known as Clarion by the name of my place. So Clarion Consulting Center, or CCC. And in this course, it's also, we are using the same pedagogy. What I do here is, as you can see, my students, actually I invite businesses. So this person is a business person, and he's actually talking to my students here in the class. Same way, this is another business person. And so I bring a lot of business folks in my classroom, and my students work with these small and medium-sized companies throughout the full semester, and then they complete one project to solve their real business problem. So it's not like, so that's kind of innovation I bring in my courses where I teach at Penn West. And by using these 2 different courses as an example, I just showed you in my international marketing course, I use transnational marketing project, or TMP project, wherein I collaborate. My students work with international students worldwide in different countries, in different business schools. And in this course, which is like kind of a marketing strategy course, or we call it marketing problems course, my students work with companies, and they don't have any books like the traditional lecture method. No, they work with the companies, they solve real marketing problems to kind of complete that course and get their passing grades. So the conclusion is actually, and understand the customer needs. That's at the core, whether it is business or higher education. You have to understand what your customers' needs are. Create value for them. So if you have to compete, let's say we were talking about JBS bringing that online thing and whatnot, or maybe other schools competing using technology and whatnot. So the whole idea is how you are competing, right? So I know this is kind of difficult everywhere. Enrollments are going down everywhere in the world. Business schools are also facing that same challenge. So you understand the customer needs, and then create value for them, for your students. What's the gap, or maybe what is not available? And then if you fulfill that gap, or if you create that value to fulfill that gap, I think that will be the best strategy to be successful. And then again, monitoring performance, or how your strategy is working or not. If you have to develop that and implement something like an innovation, you have to keep monitoring that to make your own self-sustainable, like your strategy or your business sustainable. And again, the key is collaborate and share. Many times I've seen that people don't, they hesitate. Oh, if I'll share my business secret, it's my business secret, it's my whatever secret, people will copy and will get a competitor. No, that doesn't happen. Actually, when you collaborate and share with an open mind and open heart, I think people help each other, and that actually helps you too. And that's it. That's it from my side. I'm sorry if I've taken much time, but yeah, I'm open to any questions. And I don't know how much time we have, but
So the session is till 9, so we can have questions, and you have not taken much of time, sir. And it was a very relevant and it's a great session, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for your kind words, Professor Neetima. And let me stop sharing so that I can have more people on the screen. I don't know if I stop sharing.
If you allow, can we take the questions, because I can see someone raising the hand?
Please.
Okay. So, Dr. Vivek Sharma. Dr. Vivek Sharma? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
You were raising your hand?
It was by mistake, ma'am.
Okay, not an issue. Then may I ask the first question?
Yes, please.
Okay. Sir, as you were talking about HIP, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to know, sir, because I'm in India, right? If I have to start such kind of things, then what should I take care of and how can I start? Because I believe such collaborative learning and creating such kind of ecosystem is very important when we are in a, matlab, when we say that we are truly globalized. And education has to be globalized as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's a great question. And thank you for that nice question, Nitima. And it's very important for people to understand that whenever you bring in innovation, right? And that's what I said, whether it is business or it is higher education, first of all, your plan. So if you are thinking of innovation and you do your own homework, do your own research, what is the need, what is the gap, and how you will fulfill that. So you understand your needs of your customers, students, and then you develop your plan. Now the other most important thing is taking sharing it with your like not I will with your supervisor, with your colleagues, senior colleagues, or with your administration, right? And they get their approval, because I did the same thing. I developed everything. My pedagogy was ready. I did my whole homework. I developed kind of a proposal or a plan, and then I shared with them, and they approved me. They allowed me to do this, and then I started looking for collaborators worldwide, right? And so for that, actually, I had this funded project, so they funded me for doing all this work. It was not even free. So that helped me a lot. So that's a great question, that what you should do. One, so all of those things, right, at the back end. But then again, when I launched that, every time, and this has been now almost 5 years I've been doing this, using these strategies, and it has become very, very successful. Because initial few years you'll be trying to develop, what kind of how you will evaluate, how you will assess those assignments, how you will create those assignments, projects, and then what kind of challenges you will face. So you should be ready for that, and you should, it will take time, right? And it will need corrections, right? So you will have to be very careful and keep monitoring what you are doing. So as you move forward, you keep looking back, that whether this is what you were looking for, is that helping your students or not. So both approval from administration and also from approval from and feedback from your students is the key. And then developing everything, I had to work very hard to develop what kind of assignments will be there, what kind of assessments will be there, and then how I will grade everything, how I will give them passing grade or not, or how much. So but that's a great question. Thank you.
So much, sir. Professor Suri has a question. Yes, Professor
Yeah,
Suri.
yeah. So, sir, first of all, thank you for a wonderful insight, because being a marketing faculty from JIIT, and having my linkage to humanities and social sciences, it was easy for me to connect to you what you're talking about in terms of examples. So, two quick questions. One is with reference to when you talked about the simulation based learning that you apply and bring to your classroom in terms of connecting students through the live projects and simulation based learning. I've seen few times, I also apply it with the proper rubrics and structured kind of assessment. But I've seen that few times when we get into the qualitative aspect of assessment, few times students may have that disappointment of scoring low, because in spite of being fair in their fair in our approach as an evaluator, I think that is one thing which I faced in spite of having good experience and exposure to that particular pedagogy. So how do you handle that qualitative assessment kind of rubrics in a proper effective way, so that all students should be equally satisfied with that particular pedagogy?
Right.
Yeah.
That's a great question, Dr. Suri, and I'm glad to meet you. By the way, you're from the JIIT HSS department, if I'm right. And that's a great question. Satisfying or providing satisfaction in terms of, like how you are grading or what your rubrics are, or maybe when you innovate in your teaching strategy, it's a challenge. And so that's exactly what I was referring to, that we all will have to face that initially. And so having a rubric is definitely helps, as you rightly said, that but then many times, despite having that rubric, students may or may not understand. But that's a challenge, and it will remain the challenge. And so slowly and gradually, when you do one first year, first semester, second times you repeat, third times, fourth times, then you will see that those that will bring clarity. Now, instructions, having a very clear instruction, very detailed instruction does help. So I will suggest that. But and also, as you rightly mentioned, having a rubric, right? What are you assessing? Why you'll give so much grades and why not? So I think details of each of these is the only solution. And the other third thing I will say is taking formal and informal feedback from students. So as you're moving into these new innovative pedagogies, try to help students, right? Keep in touch with them. Keep talking to them and asking them every time, hey, are you understanding? Hey, have you understood how this is done? And if you see something in their assignments, and take some quick assignments, right? So that you know exactly they have understood your thing or not. So you can provide feedback. If you see, oh, I was trying to ask this, but the students have understood differently and they are answering something differently. And so you can go back and say, hey, we are not doing this, but my expectation was this. Can you please go back and do it again this way? Or maybe you find one good student who has done something very, very perfectly the way you wanted. And so ask that is student that, hey, can I use that as a sample? And then explain everybody else that, this is how I was planning, and maybe you're confused, but this is the right way, or maybe, what can help you. So the whole idea is, when we teach students may or may not understand that if they learn the right thing, it's going to benefit them. जैसे बच्चों को हम बताते हैं, right? आप अगर learn करोगे तो आपका भला होगा ना, right? So our job is to help you. We're not helping ourselves. We're helping you. So that, again, constantly, just like as a parent we do, we just keep hammering that. I think that
if you allow me, the second one is another very important question. Like, when we follow that approach of transnational transactions and linkages of students in the form of building virtual teams. So I would like to understand from you, like, because they all have to work and get placed in different sectors and countries, and the employability aspects may vary from place to place, and they have to bring that Indianness to their approaches and strategies when they come back to India, and they have to work in their own family business or corporate setups. So when they have to work in different environments, so how do you bring that generalization in your approach of bringing them all together, when we know that maybe even working as a virtual teams, at the end they have to go back to their home countries, and they have to work in that under those circumstances and challenges, maybe bringing the best practices from each other together back to their business. But how do you take care of that generalization, like, which will give them high impact results throughout? Yeah.
So that's another good thought which you shared. And I would say that, the whole idea is to help people learn, not just the student, but ourselves too, that we cannot generalize things. So you hit actually the right at the right place, because we are not supposed to generalize things. What the whole idea is, to appreciate the differences between each other, whether it is in India or abroad. Everybody is different. Every culture is different. South India is so different than North India, right? Western part or maybe eastern part is so different culturally. So think about United States or European countries or African countries, so different. So this diversity is what needs to be appreciated. Our students need to learn as future professionals, as future managers, or as future entrepreneurs. They need to understand and learn these differences and appreciate them. If my accent is not 100% the way they are looking for, that's fine, right? But they should appreciate, they should not hate me because my accent is slightly different than theirs, right? Or maybe I look different than them, or maybe there's an interesting thing. I don't know if if many of you may or may not, many of you have understood. The communication is a big challenge, and your first question was on that. So communicating the right way, as it should be transferred from the sender to the receiver, is the only problem everywhere, whether it is business or higher education. So that's the challenge. And there are theories of communication which teaches that how culturally communication is so different. We communicate in so different manner. If you compare with the Western world, especially America, you'll be surprised. We go round and round and round just like jalebi, right? But in America, they are spot on, right? They will not tell stories and background, but they talk straight. And that can be, sometimes we feel offended. Oh, how can that be so straight, right? People can talk so straight. But that's the difference. So in my first session, every semester, I go to my class and talk about these things to my students, whether it is any course. First, because they have to understand, appreciate these differences, and especially in courses like international marketing. That's so very important. So it's not about generalizability. It's about appreciating the differences and actually understanding those differences. I hope that answers.
Thank you.
I completely agree with that, sir. Completely agree. Okay, so one last question. We can take it from Dr. Ritesh.
Yeah, good evening, ma'am. Good evening, Dr. Nripendra. First of all, sir, thank you very much for enlightening us with your wonderful session. Sir, you discussed about the new ocean strategy, then blue ocean and red ocean strategy. So while you told about the characteristics of all the different strategies and the markets, if we look at the industries, they go through transition. So from new ocean to blue ocean to red ocean. And if we look at the current world, current scenario, that the pace of that transition has amplified. So how do you see that industries or organizations should cater to changing environment and changing transition? Because each of the different markets, from new ocean to blue ocean to red ocean, since the game is different, the rules of games are also different. So how should organizations should cater to play those abide by those rules and to stay firm in the market?
That's a good question, and let me say this to bring clarity. And I may have confused you. I'm sorry, but so it's not like a company will have to fight in a red ocean strategy or apply that and then move to second and move to third. That's not I was referring to, or if you have understood that way. So see,
No,
challenge.
sir. No, sir. Actually, that's not what I am saying. That at a given point of time, a given market may be in new ocean or blue ocean or a red ocean, but that market or industry itself may transition from new ocean to blue ocean to red ocean. So that particular organization will also move accordingly. I mean, since the market itself is evolving, and rule of the game will also change. So how should cope up with that change? That is my question.
No, your question is absolutely correct and wonderful, because see, the thing is that it's a dynamic world and dynamic market, right? And every few days you see there's innovation with the AI, especially as yesterday people were talking that every time you have this innovation, technology is changing at such a fast pace. And so what's happening is that to meet this fast change of pace, what you can do is you can either keep up with that pace, right, and do it yourself, but not it's just not possible, right? And so what you do is you don't try to compete that way. You develop a strategy, you apply, implement that strategy, and then you keep monitoring what you're doing, right? And when you see a change, but if it's successful, if you're getting benefited, keep on moving forward, right? If you need to change because of any changes, you will have to bring that change in your strategy. So you'll have to keep yourself aware, updated, and abreast, and keep doing what you're doing with full faith. I would say that.
Yeah, correct. Absolutely. That exactly means that we need to keep ourselves ahead in the race.
Yeah, you don't have to, but you may like to do. I mean, not everybody, the entire world. What I wanted to tell you, and it's a perfect ending point, and let me make this clear, that like how this Indian market and how we speak, like what you just said, it's a perfect example that we have to keep pace and this and that. The whole world doesn't work like this. Let me tell you. We don't have to. We think we have to fight and we have to keep up with everything. We have to keep the pace and whatnot. No, the world doesn't work like that because it's so stressful. The world is actually at very, very peace, right? Most people in the world do not want to compete. And I think before that, Neetima was talking about stress management. I'm sorry I was not there. But I think the message should be that don't fight. Slow down. Take pause. Take break. Don't do that. And please, for everybody here, let me end with this, that don't think that you have to keep fighting because it's one strategy over the other and this and that. No, the world will not end. People say think big, but act small, right? That's the whole idea. Think big, but act small and try to remain contented. I would say that. I'm sorry if I've disappointed you, but
no, sir, you are absolutely right. Absolutely correct. Thank you very much.
Okay,
I
thank you.
believe that how we are seeing the things and how things are moving, they are very different. And that's what you said. The biggest challenge is of communication.
It is communication and the rat race. We don't have to be in the rat race.
Right.
We can be very, very satisfied, and I'm sorry that we took so long. Long session. Sorry.
If you allow, sir, Dr. Sarkar is raising the hand. Can we take his question?
Okay.
Okay. Oh my God. Dr. Sarkar, can we quickly come up with your question?
I think there are so many doubts that people have that slowly
Doctor-
there is one or the other hand
Am I
raised that
audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
It was a very, very, very brilliant session. I was kept mum throughout the session and listening to the great gentleman. Right. One final submission. I think it's almost time for everyone to have their dinner. One thing I have noticed, and one thing I want to submit over here, that innovation and creativity are brothers and sisters, right? And for having a great innovative system or to generate creativity, one has to have a great environment supporting that system, that ecosystem what the professor was telling about. So to create an ecosystem which is healthy enough for idea generation or innovation, is it possible that everywhere it works? Because in a private sector, in Indian context, it is very hard to generate the ecosystem. It is my personal feeling. So what's your take, sir?
So honestly, I don't know. I'm slightly confused that what you are asking, and I think what you're asking me is to assess the environment in Indian context, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
right? And so I would say that it's highly competitive, right? Like what we were discussing, the red ocean strategy. And that's the problem, right? And that's the problem, and that's actually the solution also. So what is, and you rightly said that the culture, that the upper management, right? Many times, and Tatas are a perfect example, because they are Indian companies, they are conglomerate, they are diversified, they are huge, right? But still, from their beginning till today, they are considered as one of the best companies to, to understand how to manage, how managers should manage their companies, how the senior management should work to make it more cohesive, and to promote innovations. And I don't know if when Nano, and I don't know if I mentioned that Nano car. I don't know if it's still today. But then when they were kind of coming up with this idea of Nano car, a family car, and the most affordable car in the world, they had to do this lot of this brainstorming and everything. And so the upper management, everybody was very supportive. So you're right that you have to create that culture and openness, right? So openness, culture, sharing, and then accepting others' viewpoint. The one of the biggest challenge I think in India or Indian culture is that it's kind of very hard to accept others' viewpoint. So I think that should answer your question. That in my opinion, it's kind of again, the culture or anything, everything is actually human driven, right? We are responsible for what we do, right? People blame, and they say, hey, the upper management, or maybe the prime minister, or maybe the president, or maybe the somebody at that higher up, they will fix things for us. No. And let me make one small simple submission, or and I don't know how many will of you will agree or not, but in that Western world where I live, people don't have this feeling that, hey, the president or the prime minister will do something. The communities work together and bring the change which they want. So any innovation, anything, and I told you, I gave you those two examples. Those are my students' examples, right? My students innovated those products and developed that product and service. So in that culture, definitely, just to give you an example, and a perfect example and a perfect time to end, is that, how that culture definitely helps. So the culture means we, the people. We have to support each other and create that culture. If we will wait for somebody to give us, hey, you now innovate, that's not how innovation works. And now you stop innovation. That's not how the innovation or the strategies should work, ideally, right? So we should learn from the gaps which we see in the market, with the needs which are hidden, or explicit or implicit, and then create whatever we want to create, because the whole idea is to create value for our customers, to help our customers, right? To help people who are in need. And that's the thing. And we can do it. We don't need any permission to do that, right? So thank you very much. That was very, very good observation, Dr. Sarkar. And
Thank you, sir.
for the kind words. Yeah.
I think the organizer must move on for the second FDP related to this particular topic. It needs further more discussion to make the things more better and more lucrative in nature. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Depends, it's a request that if you go ahead for the second FDP, then you have to start with the session, sir. Right? Because, sir, the way you have explained all these things in such a practical way, and you have taken up all the queries, whether it is related how to create an effective system in higher education, right? In every query that you have responded to, I believe, sir, still there is a huge gap in the type of education system that we want and that is existing. And again, we have to learn few things from foreign universities, from international universities, few things we have to communicate with the students. We have to understand what they want. It is the right time when what they want should be included in the curriculum and in designing all these, what we talk about, rubrics and all these things. Because what I can see, what students want and what university is expecting, there's still a huge gap. There's still a huge gap.
There is, yes, I agree.
And Neetima, I would add that's why these collaborations are so important and so needed at this hour.
Exactly. Now we have so many things to take from here to our university and to tell them, okay, we can do this, we can do this.
It's like a awakening kind of a feeling that we get when we hear from different aspects of what is happening around the world. In fact, so there were some trips and takes that I would definitely want to go and take back to my class and take the assessments in the manner you have been doing it. Yeah. And try it out, the models you've been, applying there to our students here in India.
Yes. For sure.
May I put forward?
Yeah, there are two more hands raised, but we are short on time, and I think even so we'll drop you all the LinkedIn profiles of the session speakers, and I'm sure, sir, you would not mind if somebody drops you a message on LinkedIn and asks you a question.
Not at all.
Yeah. So you all can connect with sir and
Good evening. Hello.
Yes, Vivek sir, we can hear you. Please go ahead.
Ma'am, sorry, sir. My son is also there. He want to know something. His question is, please,
Okay, we'll take this last one, Neetima.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead, Vivek sir.
Good evening, good evening, sir. Very brilliant session of yours. My question is,
can we see you, dear child? Can we see you?
Yes, ma'am.
It will be a pleasure.
It's a real guest experience.
Yes.
Yeah. Go ahead, beta.
Oh, so sweet. Hello.
hello, ma'am.
What do you want to ask?
I want to ask how to create uncontested market space.
Hi, that's a good question. What can you repeat that for me, please?
The question is how to create uncontested market space.
Wow. And what can you explain me your question? What is uncontested market space? See, you're talking to a teacher, right? What's your name, honey?
What's your name?
My name is Ryan Sharma.
Ryan.
Ayan, sir.
Ayan, sorry. So, Ayan, that's a great question. And maybe we can talk about this question later, you and me, right? Let others have their dinner tonight. How about that, Ayan?
Okay,
right?
sir.
And we'll keep talking on this uncontested market space, definitely.
Okay,
right?
sir.
Nice meeting you, Ayan.
Okay. Bye, sir.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Ayan. Take care.
Thank you, Ayan.
Okay.
Ayan, you had your dinner?
I am taking my dinner.
Okay, very good. We'll all go and have our dinners also.
Thank you once again, Nripendra, sir. And it was such an enriching and I think this was a great session of the day, sir. And by now, everybody must have understood the difference between the different ocean strategies, and also a very important intake that we have taken from your session, that we really need to work again on our curriculum designing, on our way of teaching, right? And first and very important thing, you have to communicate more and more with our students to understand what they want, right? Neetima ma'am, would you like to add something to it?
Thank you so much for joining in, sir. Thank you for taking out that time. I think you're on your holiday in Lucknow. So we've taken your holiday again in the work mode. But this learning was so much needed. Thank you so much for joining in. And thank you, participants. You've been amazing. You've been very interactive throughout. We love the inclusivity that you have for, questions and answers. You can you can stay connected with the session speakers, and in case because of time we've not been able to take some questions, please take it directly with the speaker. They'll be more than happy to take it.
Absolutely. Have a good night, everybody, and have a blessed new year, everybody, because we may not see each other and talk, right? So bye-bye, everybody. Good night.
Thank you, sir.
Bye.
Thank you, sir. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, sir.
Happy New Year, sir.
Thank you, Ayan. Same to you.
Same to you, ma'am.
Good night to all the participants, and let's meet tomorrow for day 3 of FDP. Thank
Yeah,
you.
we've already shared the link for feedback. Please fill it up by 9:45 tonight, because this has to be submitted. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
You're most welcome. Thank you. Nripendra, I'm ending the call.
Yes.